I would say this: there is so much mind games in the workplace as opposed to in school, literally dragging you by your hair out of the company. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I am literally Imelda, and on this channel we talk all things lifestyle, tech and fashion and everything in between. And if you're old, welcome back to another video. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be the first to know when I post a new video. As well as, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button at the end of the video just to show support and to grow the channel. Thank you again for all the new subscribers. I appreciate, and without further ado, let's get on to today's topic and discussion. I'll be talking about my opinion on the top 10 things no one tells you about work life. If you're like me, who schooled most of my years, like I went from kindergarten to nursery school to secondary school to college. I went from kindergarten to nursery school, primary school, secondary school, high school, and then college. I also went to for my master's, and might be going for a PhD. So you can look at this long line of schooling and then drastically transitioning into the work life. Oh my goodness. You know, when people are always talking about work-life balance, I used to understand. I didn't used to get it until 3 years ago. I started understanding what that really meant. The first thing on my list is structured schedule. So in school, you have a structured schedule whereby you know the courses you're offering, you know the time these courses will be taking place so you can go for them, you know the time that there will be tests or examinations so you can prepare for them. But in the work life, it's a bit different. All you know in a work life is literally the beginning of your work and the end of your work time. So let's say your work begins at 8 and ends at 5 or 6. So now it's left to you to plan and prioritize your time depending on the tasks you need to do and its urgency. So you can see you're left alone to do this huge time management and decision making within the time frame of your work allocated. The next point that no one tells you about work life that is drastically different from schooling is no more grades. So in school, you get an immediate feedback loop to help you know how you're performing and if you're doing well or not. Well, in the work sector or in the work life, there is nothing like grading. So you basically have to rely on every project you actually achieve and the role you played in each project and its success and or its downfall. So if the project did well, it means you're doing well per se in your team, or if the project did badly, it means somehow your role or the role you played in that team contributed to its failure. So, or you wait for times whereby you have annual review where your line manager or your manager will tell you how you've performed thus far in the organization. Thus, there is no proper grading system like school where you can easily check and change how you work because of per time how you're performing based on grades. Here you have to rely on your project outcomes and as well as feedback from your line managers, your colleagues and teammates. So this is the second thing no one really tells you about work life. The third thing no one tells you about work life is lack of built-in social life. So in school, you literally can form your own friend group by yourself. You decide who wants to be your friend. It's not so different in the work life. In the work life, you have to be friends with your colleagues and your teammates basically, because if you're not friends with them, the truth is that you can't work properly with them. So you're forced to be friends with them, whether you like it or not. Or at least, even though you don't have to be best friends, you have to maintain a cordial relationship with your colleagues and teammates at the workplace. Unlike in school where you choose your friends based on how you click with them, how you how you communicate with them, because maybe you just like being around them. In the workplace, whether you like it or not, if you don't like being around someone, you have to suck it up and like maintain a professional relationship at least, so that you guys can get work done. Because if the company organization realize that you guys are having a rift in your theme, they might remove one or two of you, because they'll say that it's going to hinder the company's growth. So these are one of the issues where you have to make effort to have a social life with your colleagues at work, as opposed to in school, where you can do it just naturally based on how much commonalities you guys have as individuals. In the workplace is almost forced, or at least you have to maintain a professional relationship like the same to be able to keep the work going. The fourth point that no one tells you about the work life is work doesn't always equal passion. So in school, you can like opt to go into different clubs and activities that you like let's say you like playing football, so you join the football team or club in school. At work is different. Not everybody is opportune to be working in what they love. That's the truth. Most people are working in different places just to put food on the table, just to be able to afford things like a human being. Not everybody will have the luxury of working in where they actually really love or enjoy. And that is the sad thing about the work life. Unlike school, you can choose club activities you want to do that you enjoy and just stick it there. But at work life, you have to literally just do things for you to be able to afford your daily living, your food, your shelter. So you just have to work hard, not necessarily in the thing you like, but the essence of putting food on the table, which is quite sad, I would say. That's why, to be honest, at least whenever you're looking for a job to do, look for something closer to something you have interest in. Don't just go so far away, so that it wouldn't be a thing of groaning every time you have to get into work. The fifth thing no one tells you about work life is so many office politics. Oh my goodness, I will talk about office politics on its own in a different video, but I would say this: there is so much mind games in the workplace as opposed to in school. In school, all you have to do is make sure you like do your assignments, read for your tests or exams, and make your parents proud. But in the workplace, it's no one's company. Everyone is trying to backbite, trying to climb the authority ladder, the leadership ladder. So people are willing to do anything to get there. So they don't mind stepping on toes, like literally dragging you by your hair out of the company just so that they can get to a managerial position or they can get a higher pay. So the politics and the mind game in the workplace is topic for another day. I won't be saying so much about it in this video, but you just have to know that politics is so much in the workplace. Your literal words don't mean the literal words in the workplace. If you say something like, oh, I'll get to it, to be honest, people are not thinking like that. They are thinking maybe there's so much more in that your simple sentence of I will get to it. So it's a lot of mind games, and that is one of the things I actually hate about the workplace or the work life. But anyways, let's move on. The sixth thing about the workplace that no one tells you about is that there is no summer break. You know, in school, like you literally would have your term time and then you have breaks, whether summer break, autumn, whatever, winter break. But in the workplace, you're working 24/7. Now, you're allocated some days of leave in a year, and an average of that is like 24 to 28 days off for your paid leave in a year, which you decide when you want to take it. And sometimes some projects you might be handling might constrain when you should actually take those days off for yourself. So you need to literally find out from your team if anyone else will be unavailable that period, so that it wouldn't be a case of everybody being away on a project for that period. So you need to literally cross-check with your teammates, cross-check with your line manager to ensure that your services or your role will not be needed urgently in the period you want to take off. Honestly, this is another part of the work life that stresses me out. You know, in school, you know that for summer break I have 3 straight weeks, for winter I have like a week or 2 weeks. But in the workplace, you have 24 to 28 days for the entire year. That's why you have to choose the work you like, because you're going to be working almost all the days of your life. It is even worse for people who work on weekends. So at least if you don't work on weekends, you can even still have the weekends to yourself. But if you work on weekends, literally 24 days out of the whole year to 28 days, like, bruh. honestly, this was one of the things that shocked me in the workplace. I thought that, we'll have like summer break, winter break. It was not like that. My eyes were open. I was sad, but you have to make do with it. This is where you have to prioritize like your break. Literally, I literally used to minimize my break and use it essentially like for things that matter. Like, I don't just take break for taking break's sake. I need to use it for things that will actually help me relax in that period. That is how I do it. I don't know. Tell me how you do take your leave period and what you do in your leave period in the comment section. The seventh thing no one tells you about the work life is financial responsibilities. Hey, so in school, the truth is that most of us in school, especially like in the earliest part of our schooling, like from kindergarten, nursery, primary, high school, our parents took care of the bills, took care of the tuition, to our upkeep, to our just maintenance generally. For some people in different countries where from uni, you take student loans from the government so that your parents can rest from all the bills and then you pay back when you have a job. That would be a bit different for you in university, but for some people in their country, their parents still even take care of their tuition to like master's level. I was one of those. I'm fortunate to be one of those. So in a situation like that, you don't have to worry about so much financial burdens because the parents are taking care of it. But for some people, they were working already and schooling, so they had to partly take care of that themselves as well. But in the work life, the entire financial burden is on you. So take for instance, you're paid. If you like, don't pay your rent, don't pay your light bill, don't pay your tax. It's your business. Nobody will tell you how to use your money. If you like, take all the loans and be in debt and the banks will be pushing you. It's your business. Literally, the work life is so different because how you spend your salary that you're being paid is on you. If you like, live above your means, nobody cares. You're the one who like account for yourself at the end of the day. So the financial responsibility that you have to be on par with in the work life is crazy. And then don't forget government taxes. You start to get taxed. When you were schooling, nobody's taxing you because you're a student, you're just trying to get by. But when you become a worker, the government will come for your money. God, it's crazy. This is the seventh thing no one tells you about the work life. The eighth thing no one tells you about the work life is long-term commitment. Oh my goodness, long-term commitment is the eighth thing no one tells you about the work life. In school, you literally know when you're finishing each category. So for, let's say, for primary school, you're going to spend like 6 years. For secondary school, depending, you spend like 4 to 5 years. For uni, you spend like 3 years. For masters, a year or 2 years, depending on the type of masters you applied for, advanced practice, the rest. But in the work life, work is equals to your life because you spend the most amount of your time, which is your life, at work. So you have to make good use of it and ensure you choose a work you actually have interest in and enjoy to a good percentage, because you're going to spend a long time of your whole lifetime at work. Work life is literally a long-term commitment and it's not to be played with. Like, oh my god, this was the next thing that shocked me. I'm just like, we spend all the time at work. What time do I have to chill, relax, get with friends, families? And this is how you literally gradually start to detach from your loved ones. If you're not careful and if you don't manage your time well, you begin to retract yourself from your loved ones, your friends, your family, and like your hobbies, because you're so focused on the project at work that you need to complete. So you need to be very careful. The ninth thing that no one really tells you about the work life is real life consequences. Real life consequences. So in school, if you fail a subject, right, you can largely, to a part, retake the course to pass it well, right? Also, let's say you have a carryover, you can still resit, although you may not get a higher grade like you should have the first time, but you still get a good score to just like get you by if you write it or receipts for the same course again. But in the work life or in the workplace, it's a bit different. So if you mess up in a project and it affected the company's revenue, you'll be sacked immediately. Or if you made huge mistakes and destroyed a very essential machinery or item that the organization uses, and it was literally your responsibility to take care of that item, they're going to sack you, and even in some cases they will arrest you. So in the work life, it has real life consequences. Whatever mistakes you make or whatever success you make literally impacts your life. So when they sack you, imagine being sacked. You already have a bad name on your repertoire or your resume. Thus, other companies might not want to hire you. Thus, you'll be losing money. Where will you get your salary from? You might not be able to pay your rent and your bills. Thus, the banks will start pushing you. Like, it goes on and on. So if you mess up at work or spoil your reputation at work, it affects your entirety most at times. But in school, you fail a course, you can resit and pass it, or come back again another year, or change schools. When the workplace is not always the case. So you have to be very careful about the types of mistakes you make at the workplace. The last but not the least thing, or the 10th thing no one really tells you about the work life, is work-life balance. I know you'll say, oh, people have been talking about work-life balance. Yes, this is one of the points people like buttress on more than the other points I have mentioned. But honestly, it is not a lie. Work-life balance becomes so essential when you start working, because you need to have time to do other things that matter to you. Time for your relationships, time for your hobbies, your interests, time to keep yourself healthy, because if you work, you become drained. You feel like you're missing out in life. You start having PTSD. Literally, you start having that feeling, and then things will just pass by you. Eras and moments that you were supposed to harness and cherish will pass you by because you were so engrossed into work, and you literally didn't balance your personal life as well. So work-life balance is quite essential. When you're in school, it's easy to manage because you can always be with your friends and do your assignments together, walk to class together. But at work, because some people might, like your colleagues, might not be your best of friends. You might have your friends elsewhere in other companies or at home. So you need to manage how you relate with them and still do your work and be efficient about it. So it's a whole lot. So even with your finances and the rest we've mentioned before. So you can clearly see that there are many things people don't really talk about that are quite drastic and different from what we've always known from school life. Work life is a huge ball game, and it's a different phase entirely. And I hope that this point or opinions I have voiced out helps you to understand or throws more light into what you'll be experiencing if you're just entering the work life from school as a young graduate, or just even if you're already in the work life right now. It helps you understand that you're not the only one passing through all these drastic life changes. A lot in it. Anyways, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the thumbs up and like it so that it helps and creates more engagement for the video. And if you've not subscribed, please click the subscribe button and join the family. I post videos once every week. I'm trying my best to, and turn on post notifications so that you'll be the first to know when I post a new video. Thank you for watching and staying to the end. Until then, I'm your girl, literally Imelda. Take care. Bye.